Welcome to Stoic Psyche Wisdom, where ancient philosophy meets modern transformation. In today's video, we're going to dive into a truth most people are too afraid to confront. A truth so uncomfortable, so taboo, and yet so vital that once you understand it, you will never see yourself, your desires, or your potential the same way again. What if I told you that the very thing you turn to for relief is the same thing silently robbing you of power? We live in an age where pleasure is instant, effortless, and encouraged. Swipe, tap, release. And for a moment, you feel good. You escape, you feel in control. But the truth is, you're not in control. You're controlled. Controlled by a flicker of craving, by a brain that's been trained, over years, to chase synthetic highs over real fulfillment. That's not pleasure, that's slavery. Let's be blunt. Masturbation, especially when fueled by pornography and compulsive repetition, is not neutral. It doesn't just consume your time, it consumes your energy, your drive, your masculinity. You don't just lose minutes, you lose momentum, focus, fire. Now ask yourself honestly, how do you feel after? Do you feel more motivated, more driven, more powerful? Or do you feel shame, emptiness, that hollow, sinking sensation like you just gave away something sacred for nothing in return? That's not just guilt talking. That's your inner self, the higher version of you, screaming through the fog, begging you to wake up. Because every time you indulge, you're not just wasting energy. You're training yourself to escape life instead of face it. Part 2. The Neurochemical Trap. Why you feel drained and empty. Let's break this down with science, and then show how the Stoics figured this out centuries ago. Every time you masturbate, especially when stimulated by explicit content, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, the pleasure molecule. This isn't a small drip. It's a surge, a tsunami. Your brain thinks you've accomplished something extraordinary. But here's the problem. You didn't. There's no real-life reward, no battle won, no purpose served, just an illusion of satisfaction. And the more often you do it, the more your brain craves that artificial spike, and the less responsive it becomes to normal, healthy sources of pleasure, working out, meaningful conversations, building something real. This is called dopamine desensitization. So what happens? You feel numb, apathetic. You can't focus, you procrastinate, you scroll endlessly, you avoid challenge and chase comfort. Your baseline motivation sinks lower and lower until getting out of bed feels like a victory. But here's where it gets darker. Your body starts following suit. Testosterone, the very hormone responsible for drive, strength, assertiveness, begins to drop. Your posture worsens, your voice weakens, your eyes lose fire, your handshake loses grip. You become a shadow, not a man. And what's worse, you start to believe this is normal. It's not. Part 3. The Stoic Truth, what ancient philosophers knew all along. The ancient Stoics didn't have neuroscience, but they didn't need it. They understood something far more powerful, the relationship between discipline and freedom, between indulgence and destruction, between desire and identity. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." Let that echo. Every time you give in to your lower impulses, you lose a little more freedom. You hand over control to your body, your cravings, your animal nature, instead of commanding them with reason, with purpose, with will. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, put it even more bluntly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. To the Stoics, the man who cannot resist pleasure is not a man at all. He is a prisoner, chained not by iron, but by instinct. The true Stoic doesn't escape discomfort, he walks through it. He doesn't run from temptation, he conquers it. He doesn't pursue pleasure, he pursues virtue. This is the kind of man the modern world desperately needs. and it's the kind of man you were born to become. Part 4. 3 Pillars of Power. How to break free and rise above. Now let's stop talking about the problem and move toward the solution. You don't break free by willpower alone. You need a framework, a new way of seeing yourself, your energy, and your purpose. The Stoics gave us that framework, and it begins with 3 pillars. Pillar 1. Self-discipline, the foundation of mastery. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, and nothing lies further outside your control than the desires you let rule you." Self-discipline doesn't mean you never feel the urge. It means you don't obey it. It means you pause, you breathe, you choose action over reaction. Each time you resist, you grow stronger. You train your mind like a muscle. And with repetition, the compulsion shrinks while your confidence expands. Because discipline is not about deprivation. It's about transformation. Pillar 2. Purpose, the fire that burns stronger than desire. If your days are empty, your mind will seek stimulation. If your life lacks direction, your brain will grasp at pleasure. So the antidote to addiction is not just suppression, it's redirection. Replace the void with vision. What are you building? Who are you becoming? What do you want your legacy to be? When your life is infused with purpose, real, tangible, soul-burning purpose, you simply don't have time for distraction. You won't need it. You'll be too busy becoming someone extraordinary. This is what separates the average from the great, the lost from the legendary. Pillar 3. Transmutation, converting energy into excellence. Here's where things get powerful. Sexual energy is not evil. It's not a curse. It's potential, raw, untamed energy. But like fire, it can either burn your house down or power a kingdom. Men throughout history have known this. Leonardo da Vinci, Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla. They didn't waste their energy on indulgence. They transmuted it. They used their desire as fuel for creativity, innovation, focus, and greatness. This is what the Stoics practice too, redirecting carnal energy into personal growth, wisdom, and service to the world. You don't need to suppress your energy. You need to aim it. Part 5. The battle within. What happens when you quit? Now imagine this. You wake up, not with dread, but with fire. You walk taller, speak deeper, think sharper. You train harder, dream bigger, and act with unstoppable clarity. There's no guilt, no shame, no secret shame loop. Instead, there's freedom, purpose, power. Your testosterone climbs, your posture improves, your brain rewires. You become a force, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Because when you break free from the chains of pleasure, you rise into the man you were meant to be. This is what Stoicism was always about. Not cold detachment, but powerful self-mastery. Not surviving, but thriving. Part 6. The final challenge. Will you stay chained or rise above? Now you face a choice, not just today. Every day, every moment when the urge hits, when your finger hovers, when the escape whispers your name. Will you give in again, or will you rise again? Remember, no great man in history was ruled by his lust. The men who moved empires, built legacies, and changed the world were men who first conquered themselves. That's your challenge, that's your path, and it begins now. Subscribe to Stoic Psyche Wisdom for more fire like this. Your journey to self-mastery has already begun. Now it's time to walk it, with discipline, with purpose, and with the spirit of a true Stoic.